like lonely when you started in Bitcoin. One of the things that are really important in Bitcoin are communities. Communities help you to improve your knowledge about Bitcoin, help you to exchange ideas, help you to maybe have some more networking, maybe to find a job. So our next presentation, it's called Veintiuno, a community blueprint, that is basically a community of communities. So please, I don't know, I don't have your name here. Okay, please give an applause to Marco.
Okay, thank you very much for being here, everyone. And okay, so what is the deck? Veintiuno. I'm not sure how many of you know about community building, and this is an idea obviously applied to the Spanish language. It started, let's say, as a magazine, as a little idea. When I arrived here, I thought, okay, there is a lack of information about Bitcoin. And what was going on, obviously the main important content has always been written in English, obviously. Bitcoin come from US, and people, let's say, in the world, Central and South America, was not able to access this information if not knowing English. So what I came up with after this first prototype, let's say, was 21. I was following Gigi, Gigi, a really great guy that wrote a lot of books about Bitcoin, is generating a lot of knowledge. And I mean, his projects are amazing. He's socially co-involving people around the world. And obviously, he is from Austria, I think. He started basically realizing that in his experience as being able to kind of find a framework to help communities grow. So the first thing is obviously create a network of open community. That was the main idea of the framework. And obviously gonna be Bitcoin only. And the second thing was offering an open space for everyone to communicate on the local language and exchange information, collaborate, and obviously create something out of it. Each community obviously should start from the cyberspace. That was his experience, and that's what he came out with this framework. Enunzvanzig was the one, and looking at the map, the results that they got, I was really impressed about, okay, you know, there is a lot of micro community that is adopting this framework. Everyone is kind of using the brand, because as a human being, we need to kind of associate concept to visual things. And the results they got was impressive. I mean, I was astonished, and I was kind of not believing that here in El Salvador, where there is much more open space for Bitcoin, this stuff was not happening. And the issue was mostly people was not sharing information. There was not the right environment to create this community. Firstly, for the background of the country, there has been a lot of fear, so people is struggling to come out of the wardrobe, let's say. And obviously it was not in Germany. The concept expanded in Austria, and from there, again, organizing the cyberspace, but actually also the meetups that is actually a consequence of the gathering on the cyberspace. And here Veintiuno wanted to direct this message to the whole Spanish-speaking country, let's say, of people living in countries like the Philippines, Spain, in Morocco as well. There is some Spanish community and all over Central and South America. So we start for 3 steps. These 4 steps, they actually are 4, and the first one is don't do it alone. So I'm not sure of many of you felt alone the first time that accessed Bitcoin, you had no one to talk about it, and obviously the first resource is internet, and let's deep dive there, whatever information you find. Second thing is obviously use your local language. So don't get involved on, okay, I'm gonna do it in English because I'm gonna get more exposure, I'm gonna do this and that. If your real aim is helping the community around you, you should use the language that the local people is using. And second one is constant signal. I mean, it's hard to start, but it's even harder to keep going and maintain the cadence, let's say, to propagate the signal. And obviously, the third one, open groups. Again, ideally will be in an open space, and ideally in the cyberspace, not in the mid space. And again, the fifth actually is keeping consistent. Keep going, even if you don't get results at the beginning, it's really important that you keep it going. Here at Veintiuno, obviously, we do it in Spanish. We see the opportunity to reach millions of people, ideally 500 million people around the globe. And I believe was needed, and that's what I started personally translating interesting documents, articles, essays, videos, so anything that I was finding interesting, I take this opportunity to learn more and actually share my learnings with others. Second thing is constant scene. I thought, okay, there Gigi is obviously a good speaker, a good writer. I am not, so what I'm gonna do, what I can do, it's basically try to use the cyberspace that I was comfortable with, what the language that luckily I had the opportunity to learn earlier, and obviously do it on Bitcoin only. The podcast, again, was not my thing, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a website. That's what I can do, and starting from the easier thing, okay, just chuck information there, and doesn't matter if anyone gonna read it or not. So this is kind of the type of contents we are currently having, between article, quotes, events, obviously in Spanish, that promote a little community around the world, books, guides, tutorials, and obviously people. I came up with a kind of mercadillo. There's like an online shop for people that want to sell items online and don't feel like using the traditional media, and small things. And the podcast section ended up being an archive on existing podcasts in Spanish. So ideally, if you go there, you find all the podcasts in Spanish that you need. And this was kind of my process. Okay, let's take the external resources, put it inside this mixer, if we want to call it like this. We write if we want to write, we translate, and we obviously try to spread the word around the social. First project that came up, or one of the first after digging inside articles, was the mythology of Bitcoin. Was a project I think was built by Spiral team as an open source item. Is an interesting digital book for kids that has really nice metaphors about the Bitcoin world. And if you guys don't know, I really suggest you to have a look, especially if you have kids. It's really fun to read, I don't know, one a day with them. Another one that I thought was interesting was Saving Satoshi. I'm not sure if many of you know it, but it's an online kind of game, book game kind of, and it's really interesting because teach you about Bitcoin on chain and allow you to play white code on the main time you read the book, let's say. And obviously, value for value. I'm not sure how many of you know about value for value. Okay, good number. Value for value, that actually from another project from Der Gigi, ideally come from Henny Rand, that she put it years ago on her books. And the concept is really simple. It become basically a monetization model, but it go out of the traditional way because the main goal that we reach obviously is not making money, it's just providing value. At whatever you're gonna get back, ideally it doesn't matter, because anything that you're gonna get back, gonna be valuable for you as a signal that what you provided has been useful for someone else. Obviously there is the English version, value for value.info, and we change the V for VXV, make more sense in Spanish. this is another little project from a development perspective. Having the shop there, we thought, okay, there is nothing online that provide, let's say, Bitcoin-related things in the WordPress space. There's a huge, massive community of open source builders across the world. And I thought, I think we should use it more to give exposure to Bitcoin. And yeah, we built some plugins, from converting price in Bitcoin, converting date in block number, and we are introducing now Noster for the comments and small things like this. Another interesting project is 21 Days of Bitcoin. This came from Bitcoin Magazine, actually, 21 Days of Bitcoin. Again, translated, put it online, trying to find the right system to make it available to people. And again, we try to reward people with an amount of sats at the end they finish the course. It's basically 1 email per day for 21 days telling you about the story of Bitcoin, all the history, and few secrets, let's say, that are not really accessible. Okay, now open groups and see what that means. Because for us, obviously, was the easier way to create an open group, it was Telegram. So we created a Telegram group. Has not been getting too much traction. Probably I didn't put too much effort there. And yeah, it's still there. People is joining, asking questions. Recently, we had someone from Colombia asking information. Hey, we are starting a community in Santa Marta in this case. And yeah, we support them to build a community there. I mean, we are a network of networks, and we try to support people to build community, local community. As smaller it is, and better it is, because it's not about growing it, it's more about keeping the people around you, family and friends, aware of what you're doing and the possibilities that Bitcoin can offer to you. And from there, obviously, meetups. Everyone think about meetups as the first thing that need to be done. In reality, it's much harder to organize. It takes much more effort. It's harder to keep it going because people come and go. And again, their gig itself doesn't suggest starting from there, but obviously if you reach a certain point, you feel like the community needs it, just feel free to dive there and give it a try. Here in El Salvador, we have like this new community apart El Zonte. They are kicking up. Berlin, that probably many of you have been joining. And Santa Ana, that is really new, is coming. I'm not sure if anyone here, yeah, do you mind coming up and describing what's going on in Santa Ana? Or? No. Do you want to come up? No. Okay, let's go. Next one. Bitcoin Farmer Market. So many of you know it. Yes, okay. And I think I have Kiki here. I know you. If you want to join me and describe what you guys are doing there, it will be great.
I'm being kind of thrown into this, so bear with me. My name is Kiki. I live in El Zonte with my boyfriend. His name is James. You may have seen him on the Bitcoin Beach podcast recently. He is the main creator of the Bitcoin Farmers Market. We're going to have a big event on Thursday. Really looking forward to it. And he's actually at home preparing for that, so shout out to him for doing the work. The idea behind the farmers market was to create a space that was basically an open marketplace for anybody who wanted to dive into the Bitcoin ethos, whether it was people who are really far down the rabbit hole or perhaps people who are a little bit new, both for locals as well as expats. The idea is, again, to provide kind of products, whether they're things that expats like myself are looking for that we couldn't find in El Zonte prior to something like this, or whether they're things that are a little bit more common. So it's everything from food to handicrafts to art, beef, of course. Beef has been one of the biggest kind of sellers for us. But yeah, this is the Bitcoin Farmers Market. It's pretty new, pretty young. We are doing the best we can as people who admittedly have not fully grasped the Spanish language yet, but we decided that we weren't going to let that stop us from starting something and attempting to bring value to the community and to the people around us. Yeah. course.
So why I love this project, obviously, is not just a meetup. They were brave enough to start with a meet space, in any sense. And yeah, it's a gathering, it's a market, and I don't know if you probably know a bit of history, the markets in any city around the world were the places where people were meeting, exchanging goods, knowledge, and a lot of things. That's why I believe that this specific event is really important for not just El Zonte, but is a model for, community hopefully around El Salvador, but ideally around the globe as well. I mean, there is others in Costa Rica, in the US, so that's great. Hey, and we have here actually Santana, yeah. Do you want to come up? Okay, let's go back though.
Okay, I feel more comfortable in Spanish, if that's okay.
Are you comfortable in Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, it's up to you. It's just for you to present what you guys are doing there. And the audience here obviously is English speaking. So I'm not sure, how many of you speak Spanish or understand Spanish? Yeah, español.
Maybe half of the people. Okay, I'm going to try to do it in Spanglish.
Spanglish.
Spanglish is my thing.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. Somos un grupo que nos hemos comenzado a reunir en Santa Ana desde hace aproximadamente 3 meses. We've been meeting in Santa Ana for the last maybe 3 months with EJATs and some other guys in the community. Y nos hemos estado reuniendo desde 3 meses más o menos de la comunidad. Habemos 2 médicos y algunos otros pequeños negocios como pupusería. También tenemos el café, una cafetería. Y la idea es que estemos promoviendo el uso de Bitcoin, tratar de hacer una economía circular. We're trying to promote the use of Bitcoin and try to make a circular economy. Algunos de los problemas que hemos encontrado es que muchas de las personas reconocen o entienden Bitcoin asociado a Chivo Wallet, porque así es como comenzó en El Salvador. Many people, they confuse Bitcoin with Chivo Wallet. They believe it's the same thing. And I have some people coming to my office that they ask me if they can pay me with Bitcoin, and they pay me with dollar from Chivo Wallet. And so there is this like a mix-up. So we're trying to educate people in these things. And right now, it's been like a very hard road that we're traveling through. But I think we're eventually we're trying to convince more people that Bitcoin is a really safe way to keep our money. Entonces estamos tratando de fomentar el uso de Bitcoin, convenciéndolos de que es una manera segura de resguardar nuestros fondos. So basically that's what we're doing. Like we're going like baby steps, but we're very enthusiastic about it. I don't know if you have any questions about Santa Ana. What is? Sí.
What's up?
We have a Telegram group, and now, do we have a WhatsApp group? Only Telegram, yeah.
Bitcoineros del Occidente.
Yeah, it's Bitcoineros de Occidente. That's our WhatsApp group. Yes. Sí, ahorita no tenemos un proyecto como fijo ya que estemos trabajando directamente en él. Sin embargo, es una de las cuestiones de las que discutimos cuando nos reunimos, porque sí es una necesidad grande de educar a la gente, especialmente por esa confusión que existe.
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Thank you.
All right. And many of you guys, it's actually, let's start it from there. How many of you guys feels alone on your journey to Bitcoin? or everyone here already founded his community and is pretty comfortable with it. Cool. Big progresses. Well, here just a small detail about the forks that 21 currently has. I think there are more than that now. And yeah, just amazing how things are growing so fast in less than 1 year. And hopefully we're gonna see more. Again, 4-point consistency. Keep it doing like in the gym. Don't be afraid and tired of doing you are doing for nothing, because what you're doing now probably gonna be useful in the future for someone else. And the suggestion is obviously stick with it for at least 21 weeks. It's a bit less than half year, 5 months, so keep going and yeah, go there. You don't need to be a developer to join Bitcoin, obviously, because that's what most of the people probably was thinking about. Bitcoin, technical things, too difficult, and that's why Satoshi came, right? You don't need to be a Bitcoiner, give us a kiss, and this kiss is actually Bitcoin, and it's on us to take this kiss, learn about it, and share this love that every one of us has, and with anyone around you. Here, just a small recap of the Telegram groups that I found here in El Salvador. We already mentioned most of them, so I'm not gonna go in the list. And some Spanish meetups, they are happening, the most famous one, the El Zonte, that again, is not really a meetup, and lately has been evolving in an event, so it's growing. Bitcoin Beach meetup, so there is many, Santana here, and some new from something in Argentina, Mexico, Colombia recently, so things are popping in the Spanish-speaking world. And here a bit of information about Veintiuno itself. You find anything obviously in Veintiuno.world. There is a newsletter that, is not sending any news since few months. We have been busy with other things. We are collecting funds, obviously, to sustain costs, but again, we don't go out and really ask for it. And here the ways you can basically look and connect with us, different channels. Actually, Twitter, we get rid proudly of it, so we are not on Twitter anymore. Fuck that, if you're gonna allow me. And Nostr forever, and decentralizing tools. So wisely choose your tools. Don't think about making a big audience, because the real audience you need to reach, again, is the one around you, not further. And online there is a really nice video as well. If you want to dive more, there Gigit do it. So I don't think we have time to do it now. It's 30 minutes video, but yeah, check it out. It's really interesting, and hopefully you can learn something and build a community around you instead of joining an existing one. Hopefully you can join. I'm not sure if anyone has any question about this framework. Yeah. Great, I did a good job. And thank you very much, guys.